A common requirement when building web applications that perform CRUD operations against back-end SQL databases is to keep track of who made edits to what table and when those edits were made. And this is often done by adding triggers to the tables in your SQL database, such as an on-update trigger or an on-insert trigger or an on-delete trigger. But in many cases, it's not possible to make schema changes to your backend database and add these triggers. And so being able to define an auditing feature within Alpha Anywhere itself can be quite useful. So this is now possible by going over to Project Properties, and if you scroll down in Project Properties to Audit Table Settings, you can see that you can turn on auditing in the current web project. So before you turn on auditing, you have to define a table that's going to contain all of the auditing information. And in order to create that table, you can open up the builder here, specify the connection string where the auditing table will be stored, and you can use a connection to any database where you have the ability to read and write data. And then if you have an existing table, you can map that table to the required structure, or if you don't have an existing table, you can just type in the name of the table over there and then click on the create audit table hyperlink. So you can see that in this application we've already turned on auditing, and we've specified our connection string and the name of our audit table. And then you can specify where the user ID, the name of the user ID who did the edit to the record, will be obtained from. So by default, if you're using the Alpha Security Framework, the user ID will be obtained from the current logged in user. But if you're not using the Alpha Security Framework, you might want to define your own expression for obtaining the user ID. So you can see that in this case I've said that the user ID should be obtained by looking into this session.userid field over there. So let's now that we've set up auditing, let's go and take a look at an existing component. We'll make an edit to that and see what happens. So you can see that we have a UX component over here called test table, and this table has a list with a detail view, and the detail view, the list is updating a table called test table over here. So let's go ahead now, and we'll go ahead and we'll run the component. We'll go here and make an edit over here, and we'll then go ahead and save it. Then we'll go here and add a new record, and we'll go here and type in Jim Jones from New York, and then we'll go ahead and save it now, and then we'll go ahead and click the synchronize button. And then let's go now take a look at what's inside the audit table that we set up. So I'm going to go there and do a refresh, and you can see that there are two entries in the audit table. The first entry basically says that we did an update, and the update was done by user number 1. So since we're not using the security framework right now, we're actually just in working preview. You can see that what we did over here on the server side on dialog initialize event, we actually set a session variable called session.userid to user ID number 1. So as a result of that, when we look at our audit table, we can see that the first update was done by user number 1. And if we were using the security framework, we would have gotten the user ID from context.security.username, which would be the name of the current logged in user. And then we can see that basically in the audit table we've got the date and time when the update was done, and then we have a field called data that has the old value and the new value of all of the fields that were edited, the name of the table that was edited, the primary key, and the primary key value. Then if we go to the next record over here, we'll see that on the next record basically that was an insert, and these are the values that were inserted. So the ability to create an auditing feature in a Alpha Anywhere application is now really easy to implement using a new feature in the project properties. Thanks very much for watching.